Hi, I'm Catherine Jolliffe. Today I'm going to be going over the electrical conduction system of the heart and the blood flow of the heart. Today we're going to start with the electrical conduction system of the heart in this upper portion of the right atrium. This is where we're going to start. So in this upper portion of the right atrium along the lateral wall, we see what is called the SA node. This SA node or sinoatrial node is what is the pacemaker of the heart. It's going to start that contraction going, and we're going to see where it leads, so it helps contract the whole entire heart. So it's going to go into this AV node right here on this interatrial septum. So this is going to lead to the bundle of His, which is hiding right here, and it's going to bifurcate into two segments because we need fibers to go along the left side of the heart and we need fibers to go along the right side of the heart because they obviously both need to contract for the heart to work properly. Off the bundle of His and the bifurcation, we're going to have little fibers called Purkinje fibers branch off of them. These Purkinje fibers are going to help us go into every little segment of the heart that we need to go into, so we know that the heart is going to contract properly. Now we're going to go to the blood flow of the heart. We're going to start in these two vessels right here. Remember, this one is called the superior vena cava and this one is called the inferior vena cava. They're called this because the superior is going to collect unoxygenated blood from the superior part of the body, and the inferior is going to collect that unoxygenated blood from the inferior part of the body. These two are going to lead to this right atrium and dump the blood up here in this right atrium. This is the collecting part. So from this right atrium, we have what's called the tricuspid valve. These valves are going to open and let that unoxygenated blood go into this right ventricle, and that is where our moderator band will sit. So in the right ventricle, we have the unoxygenated blood. Well, that needs to get oxygenated. So we're going to go through this pulmonic valve into this pulmonary artery. Some people like to call it the pulmonic trunk. And it's going to bifurcate into right and left because this blood is going to be going into our lungs. So we need blood to go into our left lung and we need blood to go into our right lung. So that is why it bifurcates. So from there, the blood's going to get oxygenated in that lung and it's going to have to come back to that heart so we can get the rest of our body oxygenated with that good blood. That's where these pulmonary veins come in place. These names of the pulmonary veins are quite simple. We have 4 that dumps in. Show you. This one's hiding. There it is. So, let me put this back in place now. It's quite simple. We just have the right pulmonary veins, left pulmonary veins. Very simple names. So this kind of looks like it's going to dump into the right atrium, but it's going to go behind it and dump into the left atrium. And these pulmonary arteries and our aorta is kind of hiding that, but here's our left atrium. And we have what's called our mitral valve. Our mitral valve only has 2 valves, and our tricuspid had 3 valves, so remember that. Blood's going to go through that mitral valve into this left ventricle. Remember, this is oxygenated blood from the lungs sitting in this left side of the heart. And also notice how the left side is quite bigger than the right side. This is because this right side is just pumping blood to our lungs. So it's not going to need that much force to get to our lungs, but this left side, we're going to pump blood from our head to our toes. So we need this to be larger so it can contract really hard, so we make sure all that blood goes where it needs to go. Let me put this back again. Okay. So we have this oxygenated blood. Well, it obviously needs to go into our body. So that's where this aortic valve comes into place. The blood is going to go through this aortic valve, and it's going to go into the rest of our aorta. Now this aorta, most people don't know this, but our aorta actually goes all the way through our abdomen area, and it's going to bifurcate at our legs, so you can actually see on ultrasound the aortic bifurcation, and you can find that around our belly button. So this is going to go all the way down to feed our inferior portion of our body, but we also need blood to feed our superior portion of our body, especially our brain. So these are where these branches come into place. We have our brachiocephalic. That's going to be our first branch off of our aorta. And then we're going to have our left common carotid. This might help you remember carotid, and our carotid artery is in our neck. And then we also have our left subclavian. So these are all going to go to our superior portion of our body, and there's going to be multiple branches down the descending portion of the aorta. So this part is ascending because it's going up, and then it's going to, can't think of the word, but it's going to arch. This is our arch right here. And then it's going to lead to a descending portion. So all that blood's going to circulate in our body. Well, our body is going to be taking that oxygen from that blood, so that leaves us with the unoxygenated blood once again. So this is where these vessels that we talked about earlier come into place. So all this blood that went through here, it got unoxygenated, and it's going to come back to our superior vena cava. All this blood that went to the descending is going to come all the way back to our inferior vena cava, and then it's going to start the cycle all over again. And that is what our blood cycle is in our heart. Thank you. Have a great day.